Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the podcast that pulls back the curtain, that dissects the strikes, the submissions, and the controversial decisions. We're coming to you live from the Empty the Bench Network. We are diving deep into the world of mixed martial arts. Get ready for the unfiltered takes, the expert analysis, and the raw, unadulterated passion for the fight game. These are your hosts, two of the most knowledgeable voices in the sport. The one, the only, Zain Bando, and the undisputed, the always insightful, Jack Gold. This is the MMA Outsiders.
What up, what up? It's the MMA Outsiders. Zain, how you doing?
Good, sir. How are you? It's episode 160. It's Thursday, March 12th, 2026. We're going a little bit earlier because yours truly over here is a pretty busy weekend coming up in the next couple of hours on his hands. But overall, I'm doing good. How are you, man?
Doing good. Getting ready for a pretty fun Apex fight night this Saturday.
Yeah, this Apex card is for the real hardcore.
Not only that, I think it's a great card. This goes card for card with, if you take away any title fights with any card this year, I think.
Yeah, it should be a good card for sure. Before we get into any of that, though, before we get into any of the major topics this week, again, this is episode 160 of the MMA Outsiders. What I like to do is I like to say where we're streaming to right now. So it's on your YouTube channel. It's on my YouTube channel. It's on the ETV Network's YouTube channel. It's on the ETV Sports Twitter account, the ETV Network Twitter account, the MMA Outsiders account, my personal Twitter account, and, of course, Bando's Breakdowns. Tons of destinations. 63 people are already in your shot. It's all of you. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the ETV Network. To do so, youtube.com/ETV Network. My name is Zain Bando. I'm a staff writer for MMAKnockout.com, pumping out about 20 years those stories a month, so you can check out all my weekly content every single week on every UFC event, whether that's major breaking news, how to watch pieces, and so much more. And that Gold is still kicking, and he's still doing his own thing. I don't know your content calendar as well as you do, so as I like to do every week,
I got some news for you. Finally, we got something in the works.
All right, what do we got?
I will be on the scene for NFC something on March 20th. There's a bunch of big fights. Let's see what event that is. But March 20th at the Battery, NFC 186, headlined by Shamik Harvey and Shamel Finley for the NFC Flyweight MMA Championship. We've also got some other big fights on there, some undefeated pros on here. It'll be a good time. But
where is that?
Be on the scene.
Where is that show, Jack?
That show is at the Battery in Marietta, Georgia.
Okay, so you're gonna be going down to Georgia for that card. Okay, cool.
I'll be in Georgia for the week that card is on, and I said, why not? Let's make something of it.
Good for you. That's gonna be a fun time. And for those sickos out there that want to watch that card, where can they watch it?
Oh man, that's a good question. I know it's a pay-per-view. I believe you look up NFCfighting.com, you hit event, watch event, it'll bring you where you want to go. But
okay, sounds good.
It'll be a good event. Listen, the Battery might be my favorite regional venue that I've ever been to. I'd say the Pearl, I wouldn't consider that regional. I think that's a real
No. The Pearl is a legit venue
I love the Pearl.
Let's think about this. They host semi-major boxing events. They used to be a major host for the UFC before Dana got kicked out of there, so they don't go there anymore. And they used to do some other stuff too. There's certainly a very, very good casino whenever they have shows.
Almost knocking stuff off my desk here. But I love the Pearl. That might be my favorite venue. It feels like you're walking into 1970s Vegas, red velvet everywhere. Got booths and got turrets everywhere. It's one
that I certainly think I would like, and I'm excited to check it out in the future because it sounds awesome.
But what I will say for the Battery in Atlanta, it is literally from your bedroom to your kitchen, away from the Atlanta Braves Stadium from Truist Park.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good to know.
And it's just so the Battery is a bar, right? It is a bar and restaurant.
No, I
How
get
they
you.
set it up, the cage is the same height as the bar, and
Okay.
behind the bar, they've got like a DraftKings type screen that plays the fights as it's happening. And then they have a second floor balcony where there's just a bunch of people standing looking over the fight. It makes it feel like it's modern day Fight Club.
That is awesome. That's very cool. And man, I mean, as much as you know this because I've been there once, as much as I like the Apex, it would be cool if the UFC mixed it up, went back to the Cosmo. I would totally go to a show at the Cosmo. Well, if they ever decided to do a UFC at the Cosmo again, because I heard that the Cosmo experience is kind of cool. But yeah, it's interesting to note that Vegas still has sort of that old time feel when it comes to resort and casinos. Enough about that, though. Let's start the show. Big breaking news off the top. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this because we've been talking about it every week. We finally have fights now. The White House card has been officially revealed. Jack, would you like to pull up the proceedings?
I will. Give me just 1 second here. Sorry, people of the MMA Outsiders. Jack Old was slacking this morning.
I was also slacking too. I was a little bit late this morning for setup. We're here now. We're alive and kicking, so it's all good. It's all good.
We'll have the graphics up in no time. Bang, 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 bang. There we go.
Okay, here we go. So that's it. That's the card, ladies and gentlemen. 6 fights. UFC Freedom 250 is what they're calling it. They're going back to the old school nomenclature, if you will. It feels like I'm saying like the modern day version of like Ultimate 96 or something, because that's literally the kind of naming structure they're using. There's no number for this. If you want to be really technical, this is probably UFC 329 or 330. I don't know. But this is what they're going with. It's a 6-fight card. Main event of the evening, Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje. You were 100% right the whole time that this was going to be the fight. And then the rumor that's now coming out, and you can confirm this for me if you want, it seems like, and tell me if I'm wrong, based on what I found out afterward, that Pereira Gan was moved from the Newark show to be in this one. I don't know how true it is. I don't know if they just threw that fight together last minute, but I found that to be very interesting. Some of the other bookings, though, I'm not the biggest fan of. In terms of entertainment value, it's a good card. There's some fun names on here, but for a first-time UFC viewer or a very, 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 and I mean very casual fan, like super surface level fan, I don't know if they're loving this, but if you are a hardcore, you have the 2 biggest. Let's look at the pros first. So if you're a hardcore, you have the 2 biggest names right now in the company. You have 2 of the biggest draws in the company in Pereira and Ilia. Of course, you have a former champion in Sean O'Malley. You have a former title challenger in Diego Lopez. And obviously, Mauricio Huffy is always an exciting fight. He's been calling at the likes of Connor and Chandler for what seems like a while now. So he's finally getting his big due. There's some big fights on here, but
and not only that, I think you're 100% right about a lot of people seeing this card and being but I think it's a tale of 2 swords. I've been saying I thought the card was going to be mid. I thought it was going to be whatever. And when I saw this card, I was like, holy shit, that's a way better card than I thought it was going to be. But I think with
it certainly is better than what I thought it was going to be.
I think with the way Dana was talking about it, he was acting like Jesus was going to come back to life and walk on water, and the fans ate it up. And that's just like not possible. Like we've been talking about it for 2 months. Like the timelines for some of these guys just didn't line up. And a lot of these fights are what we thought it were. We thought it was going to be Pereira Gan. We thought it was going to be Topuria Gaethje. O'Malley's a hobby kind of out of nowhere. I like that. We were talking about Hoofy Chandler. We were saying, oh, Chandler, you want Conor McGregor? Here's Brazilian McGregor, buddy. Get knocked out. And we knew Bo Nickel was going to be on here. And then I thought Diego Lopez versus Garcia was a great fight, but we should have known genuinely Steve Garcia was going to be on this card.
How could we have possibly guessed that, though?
Him and Charlie Kirk were boys. They were besties.
Oh, right. Okay. This makes sense. Okay. That's a part I forgot about. That goes to show how
I
much
didn't think about it beforehand, but when he got booked on there, I said, that makes a lot of sense. And that's the Jason Howe special, Double Iridium.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. 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 Now, how do we feel about this entire riff? The all night negotiations, it potentially being the Islam fight, the UFC claiming that it was never the Islam fight, Malky Kawa having a bit of a different story about it. What do we think of that whole riff as to how the main event was put together?
I feel like I'm a broken drum right now. Or not right now, the last couple of weeks, it's like in my heart of hearts, no one told me nothing. I had no sources, but
I had no sources either. I didn't.
We knew Topuria Gaethje was the main event. It's the only one, and especially after the fact now that the UFC has come out, or these fighters have come out, and they're like, "Oh, they had to do background checks on us. They had to see if we had criminal records." Where if that's the case, John Jones, get out of here, buddy. Hamzat, get out of here, buddy.
Yeah, Connor obviously isn't going to be in the card either.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those weird things. It makes sense. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be a weird event. It's going to be locked the fuck down. But it's just I like this card a ton. The only fight that I go is Bo Nickel versus Dawkins, and it's no disrespect to Dawkins, but call me crazy. You do Bo Nickel versus. I know he's got a fight right now, but Paulo Costa, or Bo Nickel versus who's number 15 in the rankings?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Let's see here. Because I think if you have Bo Nickel versus a ranked opponent because everybody just wants to see him get knocked out, right? So you do Bo Nickel versus Jared Cannonier.
That's actually a good fight because Cannonier's a name and he's fought for a title.
Yeah, Bo Nickel versus Roman Dolidze. I wouldn't love that, but whatever. Or Paulo Costa, or Joe Pyfer, or RoboCop, or Bruno Ferreira. I know some of those fights won't happen because they were just happening, but it's Jared Cannonier versus Bo Nickel. You replace him with Dawkins. I think people on this card are like, oh, dang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think? What were your reaction when you saw the card?
I was kind of disappointed. Well, I was initially disappointed, just because some of the names on there I thought weren't gonna be on there. I mean, I knew Topuria would probably be the main event. I didn't know who it was gonna be. I didn't know if it's gonna be Gaethje or Islam. I thought it was gonna be surprised. Pereira is a little bit disappointing. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but I feel like after what Pereira's done at light heavyweight, it's a bit of a slap in the face to put him in an interim title fight at heavyweight against a guy that's gotten 1 million title shots already. I don't know. I don't really know what this accomplishes.
The only thing that I don't like about it is Gane has been rewarded over and over again for cheating and losing. That's the only thing.
No, I understand that. My argument is I don't understand what this accomplishes, though. Because now
I'll tell you what it accomplishes. It gives what the UFC wanted to do. So look at the top 5 of heavyweight, right?
Okay.
We've got Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane's number 1, which is so dumb. Volkov, Pavlovich, Curtis Blades, Waldo, right? So it's you can't book. I mean, I guess you could do Waldo versus Alex, but that's not a fight. Curtis Blades, you wouldn't do that. Sergey Pavlovich, he hasn't deserved it. So it'd have to be Gane or Volkov, right?
Right.
And I think the Volkov fight would be awesome.
But Russians can't fight on the card, though. Right? Exactly.
So, and Tom's still out. And on one hand, I totally understand the public wanting to be like, hey, strip Tom, make this for the vacant belt. But I think
I don't think you can do that because it's been under a year since he technically became undisputed.
Not only that, I think it's double. It's it's been 5 months. Less than 5 months. And not only has it been less than 5 months, if it were 3 years ago, if it was before March of 2023, I bet you they would have stripped him. But with the very last champion, who Tom went from interim to undisputed took 18 months from winning the title to getting back in there without being stripped. So that sets the precedent that they can't strip the heavyweight champion for 18 months. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to do it sooner, like 12 months or whatever, but they sure as shit can't do it at 5.
No.
So it's just like they got to do interim. Gon's the only option, essentially. And stylistically, I think it'll be a fun fight. I think it's going to be a striking match unless Gon tries to stink it up. And I think the reason they make it is because Pereira's a star and he has the opportunity to become the first triple champ.
Right, dude, Pereira isn't a star. Some say he might be the biggest star in the promotion.
In my opinion, I think more people know him than Ilya, but I think it's probably Pereira, Ilya, Islam.
Yeah, I agree.
Those 4.
And of course, they're not gonna put an interim title fight over undisputed.
Yeah, they can. And he's the only American in the 2 title fights. He's got to be the main event.
Right, exactly. So overall, because this was kind of part of the thumbnail I created as well, what would you give this card overall, unbiasedly, as a grade? And then let's talk about the other layer of this, which is something that I don't think a lot of people are fully talking about. Let's make our predictions as to what we think this broadcast is going to look like. So let's do our grades first. I'll let you go first.
Listen, when I saw this card, I went, that's better than I expected it to be. So I'm going to give it a flat out A. And I'm a harsh grader. You guys know. I don't take it away.
I'm going to give it like an A-. The O'Malley Zahabi, it doesn't do it for me. It should have been O'Malley versus Sandhagen.
I agree. Here's my thought on it, right? Like,
okay,
I think it should be O'Malley Sandhagen, but I think O'Malley Sandhagen. Now, I'm not saying Zahabi ain't stinky. They both stink up cards. I love Sandhagen. I'm a Corey guy, but like he's been wrestling a whole lot. So, and Zahabi has shot 1 takedown in his last 8 fights. So I think what the UFC wanted to do was USA versus Canada, where US has the potential to get a knockout win. If Sean, he can't fight like he fought Song, but if the Sean who came in the early of his career fought Peter Yan, he's gonna knock Zahabi out. So I think that's a US victory versus a Canadian at the White House. I think that's the UFC's vision.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Because they know the fight before, I think they're like, okay, we have Chandler here. We knew he was going to be here because we offered him Conor. We were like, you get Conor, you get Conor, you get Conor. Here's Hoofy. Hoofy's probably going to highlight reel knockout him.
So so be honest. Do you think they're not, besides the legal stuff, do you think they're not putting Conor on this because they know they can't sell tickets to him? I think the reason, well, yeah, but I think this is from Conor. Like, this is what he was saying, and I agree 100%. They never put him on UFC 200 or UFC 300 or International Fight Week. They put him on UFC 201 or 301 or the January cards because it's like, in his words, a double sale. They have the big title fight, have the big card, and Conor fights next month. Oh, right. That makes sense. Technically, he fought at UFC 202, but I totally get what he was.
But yeah, like he was just saying, like it's the next one, and it was so funny. He was just like, all fighters are just cattle, but I'm the Wagyu walking around the fucking farm. I was like, hell yeah, dude. And I don't even like Conor, but that made me chuckle.
No, and he's not wrong. Question is now is with Chandler fighting Huffy that now this is where the plot. I think it's my guy. This is where we're gonna really find out who Conor's actually fighting.
It literally has to be another Unk if they want it to be a good fight. Like if
I think it should be Nate Diaz. That's what
I think it should be one of Nate Diaz or Jorge Masvidal. One of 2 Unks. It's like no matter what it's gonna be at 70. Jorge looks way slower because like even Jorge 3-4 years ago was like, oh shit, he'd probably whoop Conor. But now it's like, will he? So I think that's interesting. But Nate, yeah, I think Nate Connor 3, throw on an Unk fight for the fans. One last
Dude,
hoorah.
to me, I'm gonna take it a step further. Nate Connor 3 is the only fight that makes sense. It's almost 10 years ago to the month of their second fight. It's 1-1. There's no questions asked. You have to finish the story, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, my one of my friends just texted me that someone's getting arrested at her local Walgreens right now.
Oh, geez, okay.
That's like a stone's throw from my house. Anywho, I think I agree. Like, I think Nate Diaz is the fight, but it's just like, you know what I could see being the fight? Call me crazy, Max Holloway versus Conor McGregor headlining International Fight Week for the BMF 2. Like, I don't know.
Well, wouldn't Oliveira make more sense because you just won it?
Yeah, but like okay. Call me crazy. As much I would love to see that fight, but pardon my language, Charles like rapes Conor McGregor. He will if he did Max that way, think how badly he's gonna do Conor, who couldn't grapple anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And on the feet, he probably colds him. So it's just like, you can't do that. You can't do versus like Protest. It's like, all right, well, that's messed up.
Well, Protest, he already verbally agreed to it.
I know, but he's got a fight. He's got JDM in May.
No, I know that.
But like, it's just, you got to get the right opponent, I think, for him. It's like how they did Donald Cerrone, Conor McGregor. That you need that kind of main event.
Okay.
And I think Max's best case scenario, because everybody's like, I still love Max and he's still awesome. But it's also like, Conor could do something, maybe, probably not. But like, if you do Nate Diaz, everybody's like, oh shit, like Conor might win.
No, which is
what you want.
Which is what you want from the narrative. That's the whole thing. By the way, too, it only makes sense to have Conor McGregor come back to International Fight Week. Because look at the date. It would be July 11th, 11 years to the day of his first International Fight Week fight when he beat Chad Mendes.
Yeah,
hey, I'm just saying.
I think I like it. Did you know baseball in Dutch is called honkball?
I didn't know that.
That made me chuckle.
I didn't know that.
But no, I think that's ideal scenario. July 11th, Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 3 in Las Vegas, International Fight Week. Have a great undercard. Don't do the classic Conor bullshit where it's like, okay, feature fight, Greg Hardy versus Tai Tuivasa.
Which, by the way, no, wait a minute.
It might have been.
I was there, dude. I was there. I had to think about that for a second. I was at that fight because he was on the undercard of the Poirier McGregor trilogy.
Was that the third fight or the second?
It was the third fight.
You were at UFC 264.
Yeah, I was there. Mm-hmm.
Not the best. Like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Like, a typical Conor pay-per-view is like co-main event Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson. Which
is what was on that card, though.
That's what I'm looking at it right now. Like, I'm like, it was all right. Tai Tuivasa versus Greg Hardy is criminal as a feature fight. Irene Aldana versus Yana Santos, and then O'Malley versus Moutinho pay-per-view opener.
O'Malley versus Moutinho in person was unbelievable.
I'm sure it was awesome.
I'll never forget it.
I mean, the undercard of this card though is like low-key banging, but like with people you didn't know yet. It was like Carlos Condit versus Max Griffin, his retirement.
Plus, he was on that card too. I remember that.
Ilya knocked out Ryan Hall.
I remember that.
Brad Tavares. It was Zhalgas versus Jerome Rivera. Brad Tavares, Akhmedov. Yeah, this was a fun card, man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember it. It was, dude. It was the craziest atmosphere that whole week in Vegas. I'll never forget it. It was just people everywhere, dude. It was insane. Everybody at every single casino pool talking about the fight. Are you going to be there? Were you watching it? Who's gonna win? Does Conor still have it? Like, dude, people were talking about that fight all week. It was unbelievable. And the press conference, dude, through the roof, through the absolute, like, it was.
Where was it? T-Mobile or MGM?
Oh, the presser was at MGM. I'll never forget that.
Dude, I'm sure you got to experience it. Being on the floor at an MGM press conference,
dude, it was unbelievable. And dude, the people sprinting to get into that press conference is a scene that I still remember to this day. And the people sprinting to get into the T-Mobile Arena for the weigh-in was nothing like I've ever seen.
And that was Conor being a dick too. That was him being like, "I'm gonna kill you."
No, I know.
But man,
but then I'll never forget. I was talking to people around me, and I was talking to 5 Irish guys around me. I'll never forget this. And I was asking them if they had tickets to the fight, and they're like, "No. What we're gonna do is, as soon as this is over, we're gonna camp out for as long as we can. Then we're gonna go to suite for 3 hours, and then we're gonna try to find tickets." I don't know if those 5 guys ever got in, but I had to respect the dedication. Luckily, I already had a ticket, but tons of people into both of those didn't have a ticket, and they just wanted to be in the atmosphere of the whole thing.
That's awesome.
So that is the White House card in a nutshell. Before we get off this topic, though, what do we think? Is this going to be full Paramount, partially CBS, all CBS? What do we think?
I think it comes down to the broadcasting. Is CBS okay with the fucking Big Don's birthday party on CBS, essentially, right? And I mean, for numbers' sake, I'm going to say, yeah, I think this is going to be 6 fights, 3 hours, maybe 3.5, 4 hours on a Sunday night in summer with no sports going on. June 14th, it's going to start at 7 p.m. our time or 8 p.m. East Coast.
7 p.m. our time is when the card starts.
Yeah, and I think it'll be probably till 11 our time, midnight East Coast, a 4-hour card, 6 fights. Typically, there's 30-minute blocks for fights. I think they'll distribute an hour for promo and Big Don stuff and walkouts. I think it's going to be
I think so too.
But I'm very excited. I think it'll be a good Sunday night of fights. I'm very happy with this. I also want to point out to our viewers.
Okay.
Me and Zain have been arguing for weeks how they're going to announce this bad boy. What happened, Zain? What happened?
We got a very subpar promo. So I got to give it to you. You were right. I thought they were going to do some big elaborate promo. It was this subpar 25 to 30 second sizzle reel. And I thought we were about to go into the greatest 3-minute promo package anybody'd ever seen. And when it was over, the first thing I said was, "Oh my God, that's terrible."
I saw that and I was just like, I knew it. I knew exactly what was coming.
So I'm gonna make a prediction, and I'm gonna say the bottom 3 fights are gonna be on CBS. And then the co-main and main are going to be exclusive to Paramount. That's my guess.
Interesting.
So you're going to get Chandler to be viewed by millions of people, and as soon as the Chandler fight's over, they're going to make people flip over to Paramount Plus to watch the last 2 fights.
Very interesting.
That's my thought, because they want to maximize viewers. I think having Chandler on free TV could entice people if they don't already have a Paramount subscription, which I don't know why some people wouldn't. I mean, at this point, it's one of the easiest ones to get if you don't already have it. It may entice people to say, "Hey, you got Pereira and Ilya. Let's throw them on Paramount. Let's see if we can get people to go over," which I'm sure tons of people would go over at a push of a button if they knew what they were supposed to do.
And O'Malley, Pereira, and Topuria, they're like, "Oh, we got to go."
Right.
For $10 instead of the regular 80. Come on now.
Mm-hmm. So that's how I think they're gonna milk it. If it's all on CBS, that's unbelievable. But knowing how they did
the thing with it being all on CBS, they could get 100 million viewers.
No, I know.
Like, it could be crazy. If they want to be like, oh, all these Netflix people are doing it, we can do it too. CBS broadcast television, bang.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You just don't want to have a situation where it cuts out abruptly, which hopefully it doesn't. I don't know. If they were smart, they would do it all on CBS, but I'm not. I'm not banking on it. But if they want to make it feel like a March Madness MMA style event, I think you do the whole thing on CBS. But I'm not. I'm not holding them to that, et cetera, et cetera. We'll see what happens. Let's take this off the screen and let's move on to UFC 326 if we can.
UFC 326, pulling it up right now.
Yeah, so UFC 326 took place this past weekend. Charles Oliveira becomes the new BMF champion over Max Holloway over 5 rounds. Yeah, this was a bit of a rough card for me, predictions wise. Thought we would do a little bit better than we did on this card, but it is what it is. You did halfway decent, but you kind of came.
I think we got the exact same. I think we both went 5-7 this week.
Yeah, we were a little rough. We're a little rough, but it is what it is, and we both got the main event wrong. So, by the way, in case you didn't know, in case you haven't been keeping track, we're both 500 on UFC main events through 6 shows. We're 3-3.
That is, I went from my percentages went way down this week. I was riding at a 78.3 correct rate. With the 5-7, we dropped to 72. I wanted to, but.
Oh, yeah. What are you now? 57-21, right?
55-21.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep, 55-21. Yep.
But listen, I straight up thought this was the worst card of the year so far, including fight nights.
So can I ask a dumb question?
Ask.
Because I have no idea what you're gonna say. Where did you watch this card?
I watched this card on my phone for the most part. And then I got home for the co-main and main event, which were not great.
Oh, because what were you doing again? I can't remember.
I was at my buddy's house in the city, and they were watching basketball. And I was sitting there on my phone because I know you're a big basketball guy. I'm not a big basketball guy. I was sitting there on my phone. My buddies were asking me what they were betting on. I'm like, don't ask me. I'm not doing well tonight. Just watching, have one headphone in, see what's happening. But left, I was driving home.
I'm surprised they didn't throw on the CBS portion at the very least.
Nah, they couldn't care less. They had big money on other games.
I got you. Okay.
But I was driving home for the Rosas Font fight. Didn't miss much. Got home for the co-main event. It was all right. Watched the main event. It was all right. Hopped on.
Let's see. I think I watched the entire card in full, which is the first card I've watched in full as a numbered event, probably since the Gaethje Pimblett fight. I was doing something for half of the Volk Lopez card where I only caught in full the main card. So at least we caught most of this. But overall, though, the prelims weren't all that great. There were some fun finishes on this card. As I told you, though, I give this card a D, man. This card didn't live up to expectations at all. And I just want to make a quick note on this, too, because I saw a lot of people on Instagram just being total. I'm not going to say this word, but let's just say this, being Debbie Downers, okay? So here's the problem that I have. And let's start with the main event. I don't even want to start at the bottom. So let's start with the main event first. So I've been seeing all these knuckleheads on Instagram, okay? And I don't mean to go on a rant here, but you could tell that 60% of general sports Instagram tuned into the UFC for the first time last weekend, because the amount of just asinine comments that I saw regarding this unbelievably beautiful display of just full-on wrestling in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
You're going to start calling me a knucklehead because I'm one of those people.
Well, I give you a little bit more respect because you actually know the sport. I'm talking about people that can't decipher the difference between one MMA term to the next. I'm talking about people that barely watch fighting. I'm not talking about you specifically.
No, I'm not even calling you out like that. I'm just saying, like, there were so many people online being like, that sucked. And I'm down to give them a little bit of leeway because and it shouldn't be this way, but it is. It's just I look at the UFC. History repeats itself, right? They have a template, and if you make BMF fights, the problem with the BMF because there's been 4 BMF fights.
Yeah, but hang on. Let me kind of step in and counter you a little bit. Can we really sit here and confidently say that this was the first that I can remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first BMF fight where I can say that it truly was not quote unquote BMF caliber. If you look at every other BMF fight up until this one, personally, from what I recall, but all of them, I was completely okay with each of them.
The problem with this fight was like, if we just go through the history of it, right? Masvidal versus Nate Diaz, not one takedown, bangers. And I'm not saying takedowns are bad, but we'll get to that. Not one takedown shot, all out war until the doctor stopped it, right? Then it was Gaethje versus Poirier. Awesome 6-minute fight. Then it was Gaethje versus Holloway. One of the best finishes of all time. If the best finish of all time. Then it's Max versus Dustin, which might have been the worst one, and it was still awesome. Not one takedown in any of those. And the problem I have with this is like,
well, actually, there might have been a few in the Poirier Holloway trilogy, but I could be wrong.
It wasn't. There was a submission attempt with no takedowns. It was a slip. They were in the clinch. He went for a guillotine.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize they called it a slip. Okay. I had always assumed it was one takedown. Okay.
And the problem with this fight is I feel, let's say this is a ranked matchup on a pay-per-view or a title fight or anything. Flawless performance from Charles. Dominant. Max has never had that done to him. Respect to Charles, he dominated, right?
Yeah.
But the problem I had with it is I feel like when you sign to fight for a BMF fight, you know what you're getting into. You know this is supposed to be the fight where it's like takedowns aren't bad, but if you take him down, you best go and finish him. Throw ground and pound, throw elbows, go for submission attempts. And I'll give Charles credit. He did that the first 2 rounds.
He did, dude. He almost finished him a couple times. He almost had him in a rear naked choke.
That's what I'm saying. The first 2 rounds, I was cool with it. Like if he didn't get the choke, he'd chain it, elbow, 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 try to get it again, elbow, elbow, elbow. But then rounds 3, 4, and 5 is where I cannot. I don't want to say I can't tolerate it, but I can't give him credit anymore because he decided he wasn't going to get the choke. He got a couple good throws and takedowns in, and then he decided to stop and lay in half guard. And in a BMF fight, that is unacceptable. And I know that sounds dumb, but it's literally, if you look at what the belt is supposed to mean, the belt is a gimmick. So the fight is a gimmick. And the gimmick is you're supposed to go out there and swing and bang until one of you goes down. That's the gimmick. So if you sign up for the gimmick and you go, never mind, it's not what they sell you. That's not the point of the fight. So I think that's why I'm not even going to say upset, but like that's why I was like, dang, that sucked. And that's why I think 95% of casuals was like, wow, that sucked. It's just because it was not what it was supposed to be. It's not what has been promised and what has been delivered over and over again. This is the first one where it was just like dud. And not even dud for a fight, dud for a BMF, and especially because the championship rounds 3, 4, and 5 were horrible.
Yeah, they were horrible to a fault, and I totally understand that. But I just feel like there's not enough people talking about how dominant he actually was. That's
one of the best performances of his career, like that's flawless victory.
That's the part that I'm having a major issue with. Is that we should be, to me, the focus should be more on what he did to Holloway that no one's ever done to him before, other than just taking the BMF angle. Because to me, the BMF angle, and this isn't to sound mean, but it feels like, and I'm not saying you're doing this because you're not, but it feels like when it comes from non-MMA people who don't fully understand it, the issue that I took with some people on Instagram is the fact that not every what people don't understand about this sport sometimes, and it's hard for people to wrap their brains around it, and that's why some people choose to not stay and consume it, which I completely understand. But again, there has to be sort of a line there. Is that not every fight is going to be the best fight you've ever seen? It's simple. It's as simple as that.
I agree.
Not
but
every.
When it's the BMF, it's supposed to be. That's the problem.
I get it. I think it would be a bigger issue if this happened multiple times. But given that this was the first BMF fight that wasn't great in full, I don't really.
The biggest problem I have is like I'm one of the people I feel like I enjoy the BMF. When title fights are slim, I like it when they're like, screw it, let's make a gimmick fight between two guys who are going to try and kill each other for 5 rounds on a pay-per-view. Go fight. And my biggest problem is they're never going to have Charles. The BMF belt is never going to fight again. That's my concern. Is because if Charles, they'll never put Charles in a BMF fight again.
I disagree, and I think they'll follow the lineage because if you haven't noticed a pattern, they try to defend the BMF title at least once a year. So
I understand the pattern, but the pattern was before the guy who won it grappled for 21 minutes of a 25-minute fight, and 16 of those minutes were just him laying there. That's the problem. So I think if anything, if it comes back, it's going to end up at 170 or 145 or 135, and it won't stay with Charles.
Interesting. That's bold. I don't know if I can fully buy that. That's a very bold opinion, but we'll see.
I think they might strip Charles, and make Conor versus Nate Diaz 3 for the BMF main event of International Fight Week.
No, I don't. Dude, that's one of those fights where you don't need a championship for it.
I know, but tell me those guys wouldn't want it.
I think. Well, given that Nate was the quote unquote founder of it, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I don't know, but there's also a scenario where if you really wanted to, you could do Conor versus Nate as a BMF eliminator, and the winner fights Charles. You could do that.
They ain't doing that. They ain't doing that. They're keeping it with Charles. But one of 3 things is happening. Either Charles keeps the belt and they never fight for it again. Charles keeps the belt and they do like, I don't even know, like Charles versus somebody at 170 pounds, maybe, like, and then, or they just be like, fuck Charles. He'll fight for the belt soon enough. Or maybe they do Charles versus Arman for the BMF. But do you put Arman in that fight? I don't think so. So
I think Arman versus Charles is a great fight.
I do too, but I don't think the UFC is going to be like, oh, for a main event, like, they can't trust him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all very interesting. But what I think we can disagree on here is I think it's going to at least stick around for at least one more fight. And again, it goes back to my original point. I think people are just simply overreacting a little bit, and it's just my personal opinion. I didn't have too many issues with the fight overall. Would it have been nice to see a finish? Yeah, but was it a dominant one-sided performance where it was essentially controlled by one guy the whole time? Absolutely 100%.
I think it was a good performance. I think I'm just going to be on the wrong side of yours. I think having 21 minutes of control with 50 significant strikes throughout 25 minutes is not ideal. But moving on from this fight, let's do a quick recap. What did you think about the rest of the main card? What did you think about Caio versus RDR? Quick thoughts.
It was all right, but I agree with Dana when he says that it looked like RDR didn't want to be in there because that did not look like RDR.
I think it did. I think that's just how he fights. I don't know. I think he kind of looks like a victim out there until he gets a hold of you every fight, except Whitaker for some reason.
Okay. Raul Rosas Jr. is a beast, though.
See, I am upset about this fight. Fuck Raul. 16 takedowns, 8 significant strikes, 0 submission attempts. That, again, disgraceful.
Hey,
And that's not the first time he's done it.
Hey, I get it, but a win is a win is a win, and he did it on a main card in front of a lot of people. So
he won't be on any main card that's a pay-per-view soon, I'll tell you that. This fight, back-to-back stinkers from Raul Rosas. Yeah, he got the win, good for him, but doubling your takedowns, then your significant strikes, and 0 submissions with all those takedowns is pretty... What are you doing? This ain't wrestling. This is a fight. Next up, Drew Dober commits another hate crime. Best moment of the card.
It was a good fight. It was an exciting fight. Obviously, he beat a name that a lot of people thought would do the opposite to him, and I think he was good doing it. What did you think?
I loved it. It was a fun fight. Michael Johnson was piecing him up in the first round. Drew Dober, I tweeted on this one. I said, man, Johnson piecing him up round 1, 1-0 Johnson, but Dober setting up a big left hand. Watch out, round 2, bam. And Johnson goes out cold.
He sure did.
RoboCop versus Bruno. Dang, RoboCop makes it look easy.
Yeah, he sure does, and he certainly is a middleweight contender to keep watching out for. He's still knocking on the door. I think he's gonna keep making his case soon. I think he's due for a big fight next.
See, I could see him getting like a Roman Dolidze fight.
I could see that too.
Next up, Cody Garbrandt versus Long Zhao. This fight was one of the weirder fights I've ever seen. Cody got cup checked like 4 times in a row. Long Zhao had 2 points deducted in the third round. Cody threw up in a bucket because he got kicked so hard in the dick. Yeah. Cody wins. Cody Garbrandt's the first fighter to win a fight while losing all 3 rounds.
Yeah, that's a very unique argument, and a 28-27 scorecard. You usually don't see those either.
I don't know. Man, it was so weird. And let me tell you what really pissed me off, okay? Long Zhao, this would be him, okay? Inside low kick. Low kick.
Okay.
Inside low kick, like he was trying to swing and bang. It's like, dude, you're just freaking inside low kicking. Get going. If you want to swing and bang.
Yeah.
But I don't know. D-. Boy, my boy Dante Johnson versus Brundage. Not ideal, but he gets a win. I scored this fight 2-1 for Cody, though.
You did.
I had him. He obviously won the first round. I think Dante won the second round. And I think the third round was given to Dante because he was on the front foot. But the way I think Cody was landing better shots, he busted him open with his jab. I gave him the third round, but when Dante got the decision, I was a happy camper.
Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure. I was just lucky enough to get that fight right because I was kind of struggling a little bit. So it was a decent win for him, and I'd be okay if Brundage never fought in the UFC again, to be honest with you.
He needs to stick around. He's their freaking errand boy. It's like, hey, Cody, we have a big-time prospect. Opponent just fell out. We need you, buddy. And he's never said no to anybody. I love it.
No, it's true. He does not say no to anybody. That's for damn sure. You are 100% right.
Alberto Montez versus Ricky Turcios. I thought Montez looked pretty good.
I think so too. I worry that Ricky Turcios has he already been cut or not yet?
No, but I think he's on the verge.
I think so too.
Next
not live up to Ultimate Fighter expectations, that's for sure.
No, but Montez, that Anaconda choke did live up to expectations.
Sure did.
Next up, Liam Jargle, Temen Dembarel versus Cody Durden. Boy, was I wrong about this one. Cody got dominated, but Jesus, Liam Jargle and Long Zhao freaking cheated their asses off in these fights.
Yeah, they sure did.
But Cody not cut. He's I ain't fucking leaving is what he posted. So he's still there. But man, good performance from Two-Man Demborell, but stop cheating, bro. Jeez.
Well said.
Sumadarji versus Jesus Aguilar. Good performance, but I thought he could let it go a little bit more. There was a little bit on the table to be desired.
I agree. He could have finished him too a few times.
Agreed.
His hands looked halfway decent too.
Dude, super good. And his kicks. Next up, Dayar Nergoze versus Rafael Tobias. Dude, I had a feeling. I should have known. I said last week Rafael Tobias is not good, but Dayar Nergoze was ticking all over the place, but he got it under control and he kind of put belt to ass in this fight.
He sure did.
Then the feature in the prelim opener, Rodolfo Bellato, blockhead versus Luke Fernandez. Round 1 knockout. What did you think?
It was a pretty nasty knockout. Bellato was still kind of to me based on what happened to him about a year and a half ago with that illegal up kick and all that. I don't know. I haven't really bought into the Bellato hype yet. I gotta see more out of him.
There ain't no Bellato hype. He ain't good. I think this was a problem of Luke Fernandez was 6-0, 7-0 amateur against Philly guys. I think if you know ball, the Philly regional scene isn't known to be one of the best around town.
No, it's not. Given how much time we have left, let's only go over the main event for UFC Vegas 114. We'll post all of our picks on Saturday.
Before we go through our main event of UFC March 14th, we want to remind you of the massive show coming your way tomorrow right here on the ETB network. Bando's Breakdowns hits a major milestone with episode 81, and Zain Bando is taking the show on the road. He'll be coming to you live from the United Center, the home of the Big Ten Network. The madness is officially underway in Chicago, and Zain is going to have all the sights, sounds, and high-stakes analysts from the conference tournament. I can't wait for that. You watch it here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, 10 a.m. Pacific. You can watch it live on the Empty the Bench Network YouTube channel and across all of our Twitter accounts. If you're a fan of high-level hoops and expert breakdowns, you don't want to miss Zain live from the United Center tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, United Center Section 217 leading up to Illinois versus the winner of today's Wisconsin-Washington game. Obviously, it's the quarterfinals beginning tomorrow of the Big Ten tournament. If you haven't been following this tournament, there's been some damn good basketball the last few days. So excited to bring that to you guys on Friday. It's a live show, episode 81. We'll go into a bunch of different stuff as well outside of hoops, but should be a fun stream. And again, live from the United Center. We're going to try it out. Hopefully everything goes well, and hopefully the Wi-Fi is halfway decent. But very much looking forward to being live for that stream and watch some good hoops afterwards. So should be a fun time. I'm actually going to go later today to the United Center to scout my seat and figure out my angles and Wi-Fi and all that. So stay tuned for all that and so much more. Again, home of the Big Ten tournament, home of Big Ten Network, as well as Big Ten Network is going to be hosting all of those games on Friday before it moves to CBS on Saturday and Sunday. So stay tuned to lock in. And if you like hoops, be sure to tune in. And luckily enough, you're going to have one of my two alma maters at least playing tomorrow. So it should be fun. And there's going to be a lot of orange because a lot of people are excited to see if this Illinois team can somehow make a run to the Final Four. And the run to the Final Four potentially could start as early as tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So,
I love it. But with 7 minutes left here in the show, let's do quick picks on the prelims. I think this is a worthy card. This is probably the best Apex card that we've had in maybe a year. Like, this is a fantastic start. Starting off with the first fight of the night, the rematch, Piera Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. I've been on the Hughes train, but I'm flipping. I'm going with Piera Rodriguez by decision.
Yeah, I'm also taking Rodriguez as well, so we agree there.
In the next fight, we have Luan Lacerda taking on Hector Sosa. Luan Lacerda coming off his first win in the UFC, I believe. And Hector Sosa coming off the Dana White's Contender Series where his Dana gave him the quote, "Make sure your dad remembers you to be something or something."
Right, because that was right after his dad passed away, right?
That is correct. He got it tattooed on him. This is his UFC debut. It's been a minute. But after Lacerda submitted Simon Oliveira, I think he might have his get back. I'm taking Luan Lacerda.
Yeah, I'm taking Lacerda by first round sub.
In the next fight, Bia Mesquita versus Montserrat Rendon. Bia's the big favorite, and I get it. I'm taking Bia Mesquita. But huge size difference.
Yeah, big size difference. Mesquita conservative by decision is the pick there. I think this next fight, to be honest with you, is a pretty easy pick, but I'm not sure where you're leaning, so I'll let you take the reins on Tavares versus Anders. Who do you got?
I think it's a hard pick because I don't know. It's about to pick him, but I think I'm leaning with Brad Tavares.
See, I'm going to disagree, and I think the size and strength difference of Eric Anders is going to be the difference, and I think he finishes Tavares.
Very interesting. Next up, we have Balaji Oki taking on Manuel Souza in Souza's debut. I'm taking Manuel Souza.
Yeah, I got Souza conservatively by decision, but I could see a finish in this fight. We will see which inspires. The next fight I'm excited about, though, because one of these guys is really entertaining. So,
who you got? Who's your entertaining fighter?
Elijah Smith.
See, I'm taking Su Young Yu.
Okay.
I think Elijah Smith will be good, but I think he's got a lot of work to do. If Reyes Cortez is knocking you out, I think Su Young Yu has fought a bunch of competition. Jiu-jitsu, he's going to take you down. I think he's going to be able to control him. I'm taking Su Young Yu. Next up, Vitor Petrino.
I'll flip that. I got you also.
Uh-oh. Vitor Petrino versus Steven Asplin. Give me the underdog. Give me concrete Steven Asplin.
Yeah, I'll rock with Asplin too, but I think it takes him more than a round to get it done. I'm going to say second round TKO. What do you think?
I'll say if Vitor, it's a tale of two tapes. If Vitor can get the takedown, I think it's going to be a long night. If Vitor can't get the takedown, I think Asplin's going to swarm him.
Okay.
Round 2, round 3.
Okay.
Next up, Chris Curtis versus Miktabek Orolbai on the prelims. Wow. I'm excited for this one. I got to take Orolbai.
I am too. It'll be a good fight though.
Next up,
another potentially very close, very controversial Chris Curtis fight, because when are they ever not? So
agreed. And I agree with the next fight being the exact same breakdown, probably controversial. Bruno Silva versus Charles Johnson. I don't know. I'm going to take Bruno Silva.
Yeah, I am too, but don't be surprised if Charles Johnson shocks the world and knocks him out or something like he sometimes does to people.
Agreed. Now, Umar Sy versus Ion Cutelaba. Umar, only a minus 180 favorite. Give me Umar Sy.
Yeah, I got him by knockout in the first round.
I got him by submission in the first round. Next up, we have Marwan Rahiki taking on Harry Hardwick. I love Harry Houdini, but Marwan Freaky Rahiki is legit. I'm taking Rahiki.
You think he's going to finish him?
Probably. I hope not. Who do you got?
I got Rahiki too. I think he'll do it in round 2.
Next up, we have Andre Touchy-Feely versus Jose Delgado. I love Jose Delgado here.
I do too. I think he wins a very close, fun decision, though. I don't think.
Agreed. Or I think it might be a knockout, but I think it might be round 2, round 3.
Okay, co-main event. 2 veterans in the strawweight division. Lemos or Jillian Robertson.
Lemos, I want to pick her, but she tweaks me out, so I'm gonna pick Jillian. But I would not be confident in betting in Jillian.
I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to say Lemos gets it done. It'll be a good fight, though.
And then in the main event, Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. Minus 500, minus 800 on the books. I'm taking Kevin Vallejos.
Yeah, I'm taking Vallejos, too. Emmett's 41. He's a stud. He fights in wars, but when Father Time catches up to you, it's not a good sign. Vallejos is on the fast track. The UFC knows what they're doing with this fight. Vallejos should win, and I don't think it's all that close. What do you think?
I think it'll be a decision because I think if Emmett's like borderline unfinishable unless you spark him out, right?
Right. Exactly.
Or submit him, I guess. But like he's Elia couldn't do it. Like he can take punishment. But Kevin Vallejos, round 4, round 5, decision. I think he's gonna get the job done here. Look good. Maybe get a Gene Silva rematch. Maybe get the winner of the newly announced Aljo versus Yusuf Salal main event, April 25th. There's some interesting options out here.
Interesting options out here for sure. That is the lone Apex card in the month of March. We'll be back to recap it all next week, of course. And we do have one more topic, so we're just going to go really, really rapid fire. We'll maybe go just 1 minute on this. It's just very briefly. There's some to take away from this, but for our purposes, not much, because I think we know we both feel. Did you or did you not watch this press conference, number one? And if you didn't, it's okay. But then the second part of my question would be, do you have any general thoughts on how we feel this win?
No, I watched it, and I think Gina Carano looks better than I thought she would. I think she might make weight. I was making some interesting calls beforehand.
You were.
I think Ronda Rousey does not look good. Her face looks weird. I don't know how. I don't want to be mean, but it looks like, I don't know. It looked different. Something was off, and she was mean again, and she was making up fake shit about Valentina, and Francis was calling out Jake Paul this time, and Felipe Lins is the personality of a cardboard box. It's just like, oh, Gina Carano's married. Like, I don't know. The press conference to me was like, whatever. I want to see what people think when the rest of the card is announced, because I know of at least one fight, and I think it's one of the best fights that could be made outside of the UFC PFL banner. I
do too.
But
because I know said unnamed fight that you're talking about.
Yes, so. You do. I had to let a brother know, but until it's announced, we got to stay tight-lipped. But when it's announced, we'll talk about it and we'll go, oh, dang.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then finally, Jai Opetaia becomes the first ever Zuffa Boxing Champion. Whether people want to say it's a legitimate title or not, I just got to give a shout out to Jai Opetaia because he comes in, all this pressure, signs with Zuffa, gets the job done. And by the way, if you watch this fight, Glanton's a tough guy. He took tons of punishment in this fight, but dude, Opetaia to me, best cruiserweight in the world. You got to put him up against the winner of the Benavidez fight in May. If you do that and make a super fight between those two, man, cruiserweight's going to be in a really good place the second half of 2026. I'm sorry, I may be somewhat of a Zuffa homer, but I'm on the Jai Opetaia train. I think he's very exciting. I think he could reinvigorate a division in more entertaining ways than one, and I think he was a welcome addition to a new promotion that, again, as I've told you off air, besides all the political stuff that's going on with the IBF and whatever, I just think this promotion straight up is getting too much hate, and I think if they can make Opetaia one of the stars of that promotion, I think they could do really well. What did you think?
I thought it was a good fight, and it was good win for Opetaia, but kind of moving on here, I just got some potentially breaking news. There is rumors going around that Movsar Evloev is out of his fight next week.
Really?
And Gene Silva is flying to London. So who knows?
Okay.
Who knows if that's confirmed? I don't know, but rumor has it Movsar's hurt his pinky toe or some shit. And
okay.
We'll see what happens.
Very good to know. Well, with that, that'll put a bow on the newest edition of the MMA Outsiders. This was episode 160. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the ETP Network. Shout out to the 124 people that tuned in to this morning, afternoon, or evening stream, wherever you may be in the world right now. You can do so at youtube.com/ETP Network. That way you don't miss a single moment of any of our live or pre-taped programming, whether that's ETB Sports, Bando's breakdowns, Hitting for the Cycle, Gridiron Gurus, Hardwood Game Day, and so much more, including Noteworthy in the NCAA as well. Of course, my name is Zain Bando. I'm a staff writer for MMAKnockout.com, part of the On SI umbrella, and then, of course, Jack Gold, still kicking it as an independent MMA content creator. And, of course, for those of you who are OG fans of the MMA Outsiders, please be sure to listen to the OG archives wherever you get podcasts. But now, really the only place to listen to them is through all of our live streaming platforms, which I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. So for Jack Gold, I'm and Bando, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the MMA Outsiders. We will be back next week with episode 161 back at our usual afternoon start time. But until next week, hope you have a good one. Hope you enjoy UFC Vegas 114. If you're tailing any of our picks, good luck. And even though Jack had a bit of a slump this past week, he is still very much in the lead, as I currently have 42 wins. So I'm about 13 or so fights behind him. So let's see how the next few cards go, and let's see if I can really pick it back up. This is what's been happening to me every year on UFC. I get into somewhat of a hole through the first 3 cards, and then I try to dig myself out of it. Last week I was 37-27. Now I'm 42-34. I don't know what's wrong, man. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I gotta follow the vision quest, man.
I know. But
that does it for a great show, my friend.
Yeah, that does it for a great show for sure. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. We greatly appreciate all of you, and we will see you all next week. Have a good one, everyone.